Today I hope to share with you guys some of my successful scholarship essay tips, how to write a scholarship essay, specifically if you're going to study abroad and you really need the funds. I just want to encourage you guys that if I can do it, you guys can do it too. I used to feel like this is impossible. I kept thinking of the thousands of dollars that I would need to study abroad. And even though there were people that encouraged students on campus, I felt there wasn't a lot of support on like the actual process of how to get it done. And a lot of these things I had to learn on my own along the way from other students, like observing and just by trial and error really. So hopefully I can save you guys time by following these 10 tips so that way you can get scholarships and go study abroad, do what you want to do. So the first step I would recommend is starting early. This semester I've been hearing word from scholarships that I have applied to, but I started last year for scholarships that I would be winning this year. As soon as the fall semester finished, I just started looking for scholarships that I could apply to, and I just was typing sometimes even all day. There's sometimes I really didn't do much except working on these essays. So yeah, give yourself enough time to search for these scholarships, to write it, to revise, for the whole process. Number two, I recommend searching locally within your own university because you're more likely to get those scholarships rather than from other organizations such as Coca-Cola, just because those are open to many people, so it's more competitive. So after you look locally, try to check out, scholarships for your major, your minor, and then even some general scholarships out there that your university offers. I recommend the first two first because you're more likely to win those, and there are also some majors out there that require study abroad, and usually those majors are the ones that are going to offer scholarships automatically for you because they want to make sure that you complete this requirement for graduation. So check those out. If you're not involved in a club, try to do so. There's still time because there are some clubs out there specifically for students who want to study abroad, and even if they're not, many of them do have scholarships for their students, so think about that. Step number three, I recommend going for the gold, and by this I mean you really need a lot of funds to study abroad for a semester or for a year like me. So go for those large scholarships, okay? Try to apply for those. If you find that there are other scholarships that you qualify for and that your essay seems to already answer that question, go for it. One of the good things after selecting like these large scholarships is create a template essay. Many of these scholarship essays have the same questions. So there were many for me that I answered that had to do with what is your major, what motivated you to pursue this goal, things like that, or share something else that will enable them to know me better. So treat this like a prompt, like this were an essay and you're creating the thesis. Try to make sure that you're clear when you're answering each point. Use some of those key words, the language that they use in their question while you're writing your answer. That way they see, hey, this person did the effort to answer each and every one of these questions. Because if you don't use their language, sometimes it may be a little ambiguous that you're answering their question, and they want to see that you did your work, that you tried, and that you are an eligible recipient. So after you create a general template, you will notice that because many of them have the similar questions, all you have to do is tweak it maybe a few times and you can submit it to many scholarships. So after step number 4 of creating a template is step number 5 of selling yourself. Remember, this is like a resume. You want to persuade people why you are the best fit for this scholarship. So talk about your skills, your passions, try to transmit that enthusiasm for your academic or career goals in this scholarship essay. That's usually where I struggle with because I tend to be a very, I don't know how you call it, technical writer. There's not a lot of emotion when I'm writing. Not for scholarships. I feel like it comes off as a business letter. There is no emotion, and that's what I always have to go back and try to make it more touchy-feely type. if you are stuck, because I know sometimes it feels bad to talk good about yourselves because it kind of seems like you're desperate if you're the one talking good about yourself. I recommend asking your mom, a parent, a professor, anyone you see it as a leader or a mentor who knows your work ethic, because these are people who can give you good tips, and sometimes they see things in us that we're not even aware of. It just doesn't occur to us to write about. One time I showed one of my essays to a professor that I worked with, and he told me, hey, you know, you said nothing about this, you should write this and that. And I was like, wow, like I never thought that that was something I could mention in my scholarship essay. These people that know you really well are the ones who can probably best describe your strengths. Okay. Step number 6 is use your misfortunes as bargaining chips. So if a lot of us have struggles and you want to use this for your benefit, whether it is your identity, whether it is in gender, any kind of discrimination you have experienced, whether you are a single parent or have any kind of disability, whether mental, physical, or emotional, you can use these, because at least here in the US, we're really big on underdog story. We want to see someone struggling and then make it to the top. We have a lot of stories of hope and things like that. I understand that if you're from a culture where it's bad to talk about like your misfortunes, I mean, don't follow this step. Here, let's say in the US, you could use these experiences to talk about how they have been an impediment in your academic journey, and then that's your opportunity to write how you still persevere, and they're going to see that enthusiasm and your dedication to continue your education, and that's going to show them that you're someone worth investing in. Step number 9 and 10 is seek feedback and revise. These kind of switch up back and forth until you feel you have the best scholarship essay to submit. So when you finish your draft and you've looked over it yourself, seek a peer, a sibling, any relative who is a professional in your family. Did I already mention professor? These are great people who can either look for errors in grammar or whether you're answering the question or not. They can tell you how to make it stronger. Anything like that will be helpful. And each time they give you feedback is your opportunity to revise and then hand it to someone else. I've done that several times, and that's that I'm an English tutor, and I found it very helpful. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you might find a professor or know a professor who's actually on the committee who selects students for scholarships, and they are probably going to give you really useful feedback on what to omit or include in your essay. And even if they're not, you're still going to get great feedback from them, so I recommend it. Try not to use the same person, because what will happen then is that sometimes they're less likely to see the errors, because when you see something over and over again, it's just kind of like you eyes blur over like errors and things like that. So yeah, try to switch them up. And I think that is all for now. I wish you guys the best luck. I really hope that you guys can win a lot of scholarships. I'm just to encourage you, I have a friend who she wrote one essay and she won about 8 scholarships in one semester. You know, that was just like taken away. Like, I saw that that was possible, and that's actually what motivated me to do this year of submitting to several places and working really well on that essay. Remember, there are national scholarships out there, like what is it? The Bourne Awards, Gilman, Fulbright. You know, all of these are national scholarships, I believe, and I mean, some of these will pay for most of your trip, okay? So depending on how long your study abroad is, whether it's a semester or an academic year, will also depend on how much you will receive in funds. But just, you know, research them, look them up. If there are any more questions, please let me know. I would love to help you guys in creating the best scholarship essay, and I just want to wish you guys the best of luck. So, goodbye.